Hi, hello, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah, I am.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes, please. We
Okay, we're
shall.
here,
Too
back with
much
a
to
new
talk
week.
about in this
Oh,
piece
so
right
much
now.
to talk about. But
Oh
first, we
my.
have to make sure before we get into the
That's
nonsense, we
right.
check in with each other so that we're up into the checkup. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
just getting into the mind frame of Christmas.
Ooh, yeah.
Cuz it's
That's a.
coming. It's coming.
It's,
It's coming.
it's
You
almost like he
know,
needs. It's almost like you need somebody to talk to you. I think we need to have Christmas therapy. There should be like a therapy
I feel like there
specialty.
should be because
Like.
there's so much to it. Like there's so much to the Christmas season. As an adult, I mean, as a
Mhm.
child, it's fun and
Yes,
games,
it's fun. Yeah.
but anyway, either way, in terms of the check-in, I am doing okay. Just mentally planning things and getting myself prepared for the
Okay.
Christmas season.
Good.
How about
Good.
you? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I would say that I'm in good spirits. And that's just for me, it's like even out barring the holiday, which could bring some anxiety to me, like that's just gonna be a given. But I think I'm just the year's done. Like for me, it's November,
Mm-hmm.
middle of November, but for me, this is like I'm thinking about 2024 and just
Yep.
doing
Yep.
my mental vision board, doing all my thinking and um some things that I want to do, whether it's courses, whether it's no, just
Mm-hmm.
different things. Like it says, the New Year is coming, in, so I'm just envisioning that, and that's a good, and that's always optimistic because there's always when you think of tomorrow, no matter what happened the day before, it's always a good thing and optimistic when you think of tomorrow to work on whatever
Yes.
it is you want to work on,
Yes.
right? And so that's just why I've been generally in a good mood. Even people at work are like stressed with Q4 and how are you? I'm like, I'm good because
Yeah, because I
I'm
already
not gonna.
checked out of this year. I already checked out.
I didn't
So,
want to say it that way, but I was like, yeah, people. That's like, listen, I'm done. I don't know about you people, but
right?
I'm done with 2023.
Yeah, go ahead and get your panties in a bunch. Listen, I'm done. This
I'm
year's
done.
finished. It's
That's
done.
the key. And I was like, what's the key to feeling so great? I'm done with
Yeah,
2023.
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. But like in all honesty, like I'm not gonna let
Yeah,
whatever like's going on in work dictate my mood. Like I mean, obviously
no.
some it can have
Mm-mm.
a lot in bad rocky times, or there are times where it does and that sucks. But anytime if I can control that, yeah, it's never gonna affect my general overall mood ever.
Mm-mm.
I make
Mm-mm.
sure I work very hard for that not to be the case. Like
That's
sometimes
it.
it's
Mm-hmm.
unavoidable, but if I can
Right?
avoid
I
it,
know.
I'm gonna work on doing that. Yeah, so I'm all good. So we're sounds like we're good. No
Mm-hmm.
tragedy.
Thank God.
More,
Mm-hmm.
thank God. So all the reason. Thank our creator. Okay, so we're gonna jump into headlines. We're gonna do one of our shoot the shit episodes. We have
Mm-hmm.
lots of topics, but we're just gonna make it free flow, and we're just gonna
Right?
get into it. We're just gonna jump right into it. And so first,
Keep it spicy. Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the most annoying story out of the way. The story
Please.
that makes me want to fucking, sorry for my language, but deep sigh. Like, okay. So this whole story with Tamar Braxton and Krishan Rock, and Krishan assaulting somebody because of a concert. And so, I mean, I think
Again, assaulting someone again. This girl
she's
can't keep her
assaulting
hands to her damn self, man. Anyhow.
she's assaulting somebody again, but I think it's also frustrating where it's like say somebody like whoever on Tamar's team, whoever, there's like a lot of confusion. It's one of those stories where it's so tiring even trying to figure out
Right?
what really happened. There's just like because it's one
All
of those
of
things where
it.
everybody who was there is on Instagram saying something different. So it's kind of hard to know whose side to be on or whatever. But there's one thing that's unequivocally that happened is a singer or backup singer for Tamar, James Wright, was assaulted by Krishan. I think that's at the end of the day, no matter what led up to it, it was probably a lot of effery. But at the end of the day, Krishan was wrong for assaulting somebody. Like she needs to get a hold of her emotions. A lot of people are forgiving. and enabling her behavior. But like,
I don't know. There's so many things about this damn story that seem so damn
it's, yeah,
fishy.
it is.
Like
It is.
it just really seems like,
Mm,
clout. Some want to get on some. Here's the thing: is that Tamar doesn't need Krishan's clout at all,
no, no,
and
you
the
don't want
type
any
of
of that.
exactly the demographics that she's appealing to. I don't know
Mm,
if that would be something that Tamar is interested in.
mm,
However, I just find it very convenient that nobody on your staff has one solid story. Number one, number two, no charges have been pressed. Which is, if Krishan did do this, you and I weren't there.
mm,
We know that this guy got hit, right?
mm.
But we don't know all the ins and outs, and I don't even think Krishan knows because she was intoxicated.
Yeah, she. I don't think
Um,
she knows.
right? And I feel like she makes sure that she gets herself intoxicated when she does these foul things because then that's her excuse. I was intoxicated. But I feel like there's so much pretty privilege going on with this story right here that just
Oh
makes
yeah.
me it just rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Krishan and Tamar, like honestly, I don't even know why they're in the same room together. They're very different from each other, very, very different from each other. And yeah, she could have been an influence on Krishan if she asked for one.
Mm,
Krishan is doing her own thing and unfortunately very successful at it.
mm.
You know,
Whatever it
she's
is working.
to have the likes of Tamar Braxton having pulling her up on stage. There's too much to this story for me to even try to care to figure it
Yeah,
out.
I think that's the thing why I was like deep sighing with this story.
And Krishan, just keep your hands to yourself. You don't see people are out for blood. Like they're out for you, girl. Like
Mm.
they see that you're a hothead. They see that you're willing to pop off and go to start the drama at a drop
It's
of a dime.
all. It's almost like I don't want to have a cynical, but if I want to take a cynical view of this whole incident, it's like you almost know if you're going to bring her out that you're going to get some type of social media drama.
Exactly. And I think that's what Krishana is good at. She's not a performer. I'm sorry, she's not a definition of an artist to me. I don't care what genre she's in. It seems like it's all a joke to her most of the time. And for me, like Krishan, just keep your hands to yourself. Like just you have too much to lose at this point. Okay, you just had a child that you need to support. You know what I'm saying? Um just keep your hands to yourself if this is true. If it is true, how come we haven't pressed charges? How come nobody has one consecutive story? There was a whole bunch of people that witnessed this. How come we can't get the right story? And at this point, I don't even give a damn. I don't even give a damn about the damn story. So you know what? Can we keep it moving? Because Krishan is messy. Like she's messy. I don't know what
Mm.
Tamar was doing. Kudos to you, Tamar, but I don't know what you were doing or what you were thinking.
If you really wanted to be a big sister, so Tamar, when she finally came out and addressed it after a couple people had their story, because everybody was really waiting for Tamar to say something.
Mm-hmm.
It was her show. At the end of the day, even if she didn't put the show together, her name is on the headline, so you kind of
Right?
have to. And she walked out with Krishan, and Krishan was visibly intoxicated. But I think if you're going to do something like that, you have to have a conversation. It seemed very fly by night the way it was planned. Even though some people were denying, oh, we told her to perform, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think if Tamar in her heart had if like I think she did have that intention. Let's go with she had the intention to be a big sister and kind of support or whatever. At least get on the phone, have a conversation, plan it. Like don't have this messy like messiness going on, and messiness in that people was she supposed to perform or not. If she was gonna be there, what was she gonna do? Was she gonna come on and say hi to the thing? Like plan, like get on the phone and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in your city. I'd love for you to come. This is what I want you to see." So it's your show. You dictate it. So why does a girl think she's gonna perform? You know,
And how
and
come
that's
some people know she's going to perform and some people don't know she's going to perform?
so that's
What
my
kind of
issue
mix
with.
up show business things is you
Yeah, so
doing
the
here?
whole thing
Like,
was this one thing we could say, two things we can say now. James Wright was assaulted by Krishan, And two, the whoever put this together was a mess. Like it was a mess. But more as a human to human, if Tamar wanted to just be like, she sees her struggling, she's trying to be supportive or whatever, that's a lovely. But I think it would be lovely if you got on a phone or a FaceTime, even if it's like 5-10 minutes, and be like, I'd love for you to do this. And then people don't have a hot, like, because now all the miscommunication has Krishan just like confused, and she's already intoxicated, confused, and she has anger management issues. Not that that's on anybody, but I think you also need to know who you're dealing with,
Thank
and kind of
you.
control the controllables, and like mitigate her this being a disaster. Like I think it was going to be a disaster regardless, to your point where it was clout chasing, because some people probably knew it's almost a guarantee there's going to be something going on
Yeah.
if Krishan's going to be there. But regardless, I think one thing that Krishan said in her commentary about the event is that she said, mumbling through, her, she's not, I don't know, she's just, maybe, I don't know, it wasn't very clear what she was trying to say, but something that was clear is she says, I think it's just a clout chasing thing. Honestly, I need to start protecting my name. And girl, you never could have said a more true thing. You never could have said a more true thing. So yes, I really want you to do that. You're saying that
But
she's
you're
really good
just now seeing this, Krishan.
at
Like, come
no,
on.
but she's also really good at saying the right things. That's another reason why a lot of people
She
root for her.
is. And then
But she
she does
never.
the opposite. So this is
Mm,
where the pretty privilege comes into play because she has a lot of great talk, a lot of
mm,
great game. I'm
mm.
starting to wonder what God you are worshiping, my friend, because I don't know how you can have my God, his name mixed up in a this mess where you're in all the time. Like,
Hmm.
come on. Come on, Krishan. I know you're not an idiot, yo. I know she's not an idiot. I
Yeah.
know she's not. She just pretends to be an idiot. And those are the people you have to watch out for the most.
Mm,
Especially them damn rings that she has on her. Can you take off some of them? Girl, your hand looks like you're Mayweather up in this. The rings. Of course, you're gonna mess up the man's teeth. Of course, you have to walk around like you're Mike Tyson up in this bitch because you're constantly getting into conflict with people. Like, come on, you're smarter than this. You could take the platform that you have and go a totally different direction with it. This ratchetness, like, honestly, you don't need anybody playing you for some charity case where they all of a sudden
mm,
feel like they have to be your big sister and bring you up on stage and all satsa rigmarole. And now you're now noticing, after all that you've been through, you're now noticing you should watch what you're doing and watch who you have around you and watch who uses your name and watch what you put your name like. Come on, can we move
yeah.
on from this girl? Because
Yeah. Let's
honestly,
move on.
Krishan,
Okay.
you're getting
Before we
on
move
my damn
on,
nerve. You are.
this is
You're
just,
on my
yeah,
nerve.
this is,
You're on it, bro.
yeah.
You're on it. Oh my gosh, I can't with her.
So
I just can't.
fresh off the press, Dutty Face's mother,
Oh,
Carlissa, was on Jason Lee, and I think I watched pretty much 95% of it. Well, because I find I am now, this woman is, she's very, very, very entertaining,
oh my
and
gosh, she is
wow.
delusional. That's what she is.
Yeah, I think
She's
she
funny.
did. I
She's
could,
funny
no,
as
I could
shit,
honestly
but she's
say that she
delusional.
did take, no, I could honestly say she did take some accountability. She should take more, but I can honestly say that she did. And Jason pressed her in that interview to be like, well, now Carlissa, like, and I do think there's a little bit of performance in there. But I think, anyway, just as an interview, as a way to go public, she has a show coming out soon. I think it was a very good job. And like you said, at the end of the day, these social media reality store people, they have to be public to get, you know, views and shit, because that's how they make their money. But
Yeah.
I think Carlissa's kind of learning, and she's getting people on her side, that's for sure. Because she damn near almost got me.
Well, I think that Carlissa, she's
And she
highly
has some
inappropriate. She has
yes.
no filter. She's highly inappropriate. For this woman to
Mm,
be so damn old. Okay, on here, and I'm saying it that way because she has grown children. She's a grandmother. Okay, I
Mm,
expect you to have gained some sort of wisdom by now. Why are you so involved with your sons? They're not your man. You talk about your son's penis more than you talk about your man's penis. Like, I'm tired of this woman because of the nastiness that comes out of her mouth. Yeah, it could, she has some truth to it at times. She
mm,
does have some
mm.
truth. I can relate to her at times in certain aspects. She has wisdom. I can get that. She's been through some things.
She's been
However,
something.
you are so inappropriate that I can't even look past it. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hard time giving you empathy. I really do, because I feel like this is your new job. This is how you're getting your money. This is how you're
Yeah.
maintaining your lifestyle off of the back of your son. You know what I
Well,
mean?
now she has. Yeah. Well, now that she's moving out, she's gonna have her own show. But her show, the reason why she is able to have her own show is because of her son and his drama. But we'll see how that goes. And it's
Well,
on Zeus. So I'm worried. I am very worried. It's gonna divulge into even more toxicity than it already is
what I have to
because it's
I
on.
just want to correct you on one thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Clarissa is popping because of Krishan.
Oh,
Okay?
correction. Yes. Yes. Correction.
I
Yes.
need to
Yes.
correct it because Blueface, you had all of one Tatiana song. You understand? Just one song. And you rode the wave of clout that followed Krishan. One thing I will say about Krishan is people like her for some particular reason. She's the underdog. People always love an
Mhm.
underdog story. She has the attention of a lot of people. A lot of people particularly like her for what only God knows. But so she's carried Krishan, so she's carried Blueface, Dirty Face Boy, she's carried Jaden Alexis, she's carried the mama, because she creates the drama with Blueface. So, and people want to see for some particular reason the drama that she's in. So I just want to correct that because all of y'all, if you didn't have Krishan, you would have distant faded long time ago. But she's been keeping you guys relevant, unfortunately, with the
Mm.
ratchetness. But we'll see what's I wish that ratchet story would just end. But anyhow, what's popping?
Yeah.
What else is popping in the
Okay.
outside of this
So.
mess that these people mess?
So rap artist Jadena
Mm-hmm.
is back has been in the news because he did an interview recently on this internet YouTube uh series called What's Underneath. And I've seen a few people do that actually. And so the premise of that series is they'll interview somebody and then slowly you'll remove a piece of clothing
Mm.
until you're in your underwear. And I'm assuming it's like a way to get people more vulnerable or anything, something. But
Mm-hmm.
regardless, that's the premise of that show. But why the internets were talking about Jadena? Jadena is a rapper who was a part of Janelle Monae's crew, and he's known for the Classic Man. He's had
Mm-hmm.
another song, a bunch of other
Mm-hmm.
songs.
That's my favorite
Um,
of his
but
songs. Yeah.
Classic Man was his
Mm-hmm.
big what brought him on the scene.
Right.
But I like him. I think he's
I do
cute. I like his
too.
music.
Yeah, he is
So yeah,
cute.
so he was on the show, and the topic was masculinity with man and with masculinity with man enough. That was, I guess, the subject of the interview. He pretty much talked about his past toxic masculinity
Mm-hmm.
ways, his past toxic ways, where and the thing that went viral, it was him saying, um I'll say a few of the things that he said. Said, I am an excellent manipulator. I didn't understand how to relate to women in a way that wasn't exploitative. And I would find different ways to make them feel that what I said I was doing was not happening, to make them feel like, oh, he's listening. Actually, he does want to talk. So he pretty much admitting to faking the funk. He even claimed that he would go as far as making himself cry in order to make sure that the woman he wanted felt as if he was apologetic for the way he behaved. I guess if he was behaving badly in the relationship.
Mhm.
And he said, "If I were a creative, if you were a creative, I folded you into my artwork. If you were in my artwork, I gave you a job. I gave you a job. I mastered your life. I gave you a house, food, and everything you needed. I protected and provided you. I did what men are supposed to do." Um and then he said there was one other snippet where he said something about, "I robbed some women of their baby making years. They built me up. Look at me now and look at them." So
Mhm.
that's the one that's really um been making the rounds the past week or two. And
Mhm.
I think there's one I think at first it's like you feel like, oh, that's very, I guess, righteous that he's admitting his past toxic ways and how he manipulated women and used women and emotionally manipulated them and gaslit them and stuff like that, of course. But there's also, here's with me, like there is a segment of people, and I kind of put myself in there,
Mhm.
where it just comes off a little bit icky, like you're patting yourself on your back that you can at least, I'm sure he's done years of therapy, and you'd have to have years of therapy to be comfortable enough to even say that out loud, to be honest.
Mhm.
So he's
Exactly.
clearly worked on himself. So I will give him a slight pat for actually doing the work to know that, understand like what it was that he was doing in past relationships, what made it toxic and
Mhm.
disgusting, right? But to go public and say all of this stuff and then like pretty much pat yourself on the back because you can admit that you did that. I don't know, it comes off a little bit because it's like, now, yeah, like you think about the quote, "Look at me now, look at them." So now you've done all that, you've done the work. Now you can say that, but you were good. You were always good. But then, like you
Right.
said, you said, "I robbed women of their baby making years."
Mhm.
Like that is like, what the fuck? Like
Well, when I initially heard the statement that he made, there's a few things that came to mind. First was
Mhm.
that it's nice to see that he's taking accountability, because if he thinks that he robbed a woman of her baby making years, right? That means that he led them along, he lied to them, he deceived them, and in order for you to really be sorry about that, I feel like you need to acknowledge what you've done, right? And it's
Yeah.
nice that he's acknowledging that. And to the women that are hearing it, that know who they are and that he might just be talking to them, maybe it might be nice to hear. Especially someone who is very narcissistic, because robbing someone of anything, time, right? You have to lie and manipulate them to believe something that's not factual.
Mm.
You knowing what your true intention is and misleading them with your intentions, right? So the fact that he's willing to admit that shows that he has done some work on himself, and he is progressed and understands where he might have slighted some women, because there's many men who will not take accountability for their doing in someone's life. If you know
Mhm.
you never wanted to be in a relationship, yet you don't want that person to walk away or to leave you, you tend to take their choices away. So to acknowledge that, hey, I made some mistakes. The other thought that I had was, what is it supposed to mean, like, look at them and look at me? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
Yeah,
Why are we
see?
doing that part? Like, that part was
Yeah.
too much. I think you're doing too much. But in the same breath, we don't know what he means by that, right? Because if he's done the work, maybe he has discovered that he wants to be a man that's in a family with a wife and with children, and maybe someone who he's lost in his life is has achieved that. Maybe he was with a woman and she is now married with children and happy, Maybe that's something that he deeply desires, but because of his persona, because of his career choice, his lifestyle, whatever the case might be, he hasn't pursued it. So I don't know what he meant specifically by that comment, but what I do know is that it was really unnecessary and that you did too much. Like you went a little too far. I think you should have acknowledged, because men do that. Men do
Yeah.
that. They do that. They don't want you to leave because they enjoy you being there. But they don't want to make any real commitment to you. So they string you along for long periods of time. There's people that we even know that are with people who are like, why are you still here? What are we doing? What are you doing after 10 years? What are you doing after 8 years? You're not uh, advancing in your relationship. So maybe that's what he's referring to. And in those relationships, let's just be real. A woman's body, we do have an expiration date on having children. That's just how God made us. However,
Yeah.
I do
Mhm.
believe that God will bless you with what is yours, no matter how old. I mean, we could go back into the Bible. We could look at a variety of stories where there were women that were well past the prime to have
Mhm.
children who had children. But the reality is that in today's day and age, our body as women having, easier pregnancies, because you can still have a child even at 56, 60, whatever, if you want to, just it being an easy pregnancy on your body, because pregnancy and having a child is very it's a lot. It's a lot. Some people even say that you're on the verge of death, like you're in the midst, right? It's a fine line that you're walking when you have a child, right? And so
Mhm.
I can see what he's saying. I just think he went left towards the end, but damn, you're a cutie patootie, so I'm gonna give you a little pass. You too cute for your
Some
stuff.
pretty privilege.
I'm gonna give. Hey, listen, shit. It's already happening. It's already happening. So, are they having these type of conversations with Eddie Murphy? No. Are they having
Mm.
these type of conversations with, Kevin Hart? No. Kevin Hart's a cheater. Anyway, off topic, off topic, off topic. But I see where he was going with it. You need a little bit more therapy, though.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Okay. And yeah, it's
You ended
so we'll leave
narcissistic. You ended a little narcissistic there.
a little, yeah, it seems performative, but I mean, at the end of the day, you take it for face value. He's doing a lot more than the average man. So hey.
Hey, because the fact that he's admitting it, that's the big step. That's a big step for most men, is to admit where they're wrong. So, hey, at least that he's doing that. But you know what? I guess we'll move on to
We'll move
what's
on.
popping in the Canadas. What's
Yeah,
happening in the Canadas? Mm-hmm.
there's a recent article that came out that said that Toronto is one of the loneliest places in Canada. And I mean, I think,
Ouch.
when I
Jesus.
yeah, ouch, right? And when I heard, anytime you hear these studies, you kind of like, we learn this in university, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
this, the way they get a headline, they do these studies, and these publishers get creative with the headline, like
Sure do.
they make the meaning. So I always feel it's important to be like, what is this actual study? It's always important to go, when you see these headlines, don't take it at face value, go in the article and actually see what the headline, what research or survey that the headline is based out of, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it said, it was a report called, Toronto Vital Signs: The Power of Us. And so they must according to they asked a bunch of Toronto residents, which is a good amount of people. I can't remember the actual number, but a good amount from what I saw. I was like, okay, this is actually a good amount for a study. Um, they asked them some questions about lifestyle, housing, and everything of the likes. And so, that's kind of where this headline came from.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm not surprised. I think if you asked any city, if we looked at where people are in 2022 or 2023 versus where people were in, let's say, 2017 and 2018, even up to
Mhm.
2019, it's going to be a complete different story. Like the whole world went through a trauma with this COVID thing,
Right?
because not only did we have the disease to contend with, we had to contend with everything else that
Mhm.
being on
Mhm.
lockdown involved, which is what people
Mhm.
lost work,
Mhm.
people were isolated,
Sure did.
people
Mhm.
people were leaning on substance,
Yup, heavy.
marriages and relationships were breaking up.
Mhm.
So there's a lot going on during that period that where it would make sense that we're worse off on the other end of it. Obviously, it will take time. We'll get there with time. It heals a lot of things. So with time, eventually, like obviously, the economy will bounce back
Mhm.
and all that. But in the immediate, it's. I'm not surprised.
Mhm.
So they said that the number of Torontonians with more than six or more relatives dropped by 11% from 2013 to 2018, and then
Mhm.
another 10%. So call it 21% from 2013 to 2022. So that's like, yeah, almost 22% of people, or the number of people who have close relatives, like six or more close relatives, has decreased significantly. So, like you said, over 20%
Mhm.
up until 2022. So that's a lot. And then they said 30% of adults in the city say they feel lonely 3 or 4 days a week, making them lonelier. This is where the headline came from.
Mhm.
Um, Making them lonelier than adults in any other major city in
Mhm.
Canada.
Mhm.
37% of people saying they feel lonely for most of the week is crazy.
It is nuts. That's a
That
lot. That's a
that's a
that's a high number right there. 30. That's
so,
almost
but
half.
that's
The
pretty high.
hell?
And then the following, interestingly enough, the city that was just below Toronto with this number was Calgary, which I was trying to wrap my head around. But if I think about it, Calgary has a huge immigrant, like a lot of Calgary has grown a lot due to immigration, right?
Mhm.
And like a lot of people move there, even if you didn't move there from another country, a lot of people move from, like, say, Toronto, Montreal, because of work. They just go there
Mhm.
for work. And we all know, like, if you have to, even like for somebody like me who left the city to go to school, it's
Mhm.
difficult when you move to another city. Yes, there's an
Sure is.
opportunity.
Mhm.
You're going for an opportunity, but it can be lonely because you don't have your immediate family. And like
Mhm.
if you're not able to create a social circle,
Mhm.
whether it's through work, or if you'd have to find some extracurricular activities to create a social. You have to you actually
Mhm.
have to put more effort in having a social circle than
Yeah,
in, like, when you move to
definitely.
another city versus if you're just here, right? So I
Definitely.
think maybe that could explain Calgary, and that, like, a lot of people have moved from outside into that city. So it's maybe a little bit harder to kind of have a close family, to have that safety, and you don't feel as lonely. And then third, which I wasn't surprised, I think
Mhm.
it was Vancouver with 23.
Oh, wow. I
Interestingly enough, Montreal was 17. So Montreal is like almost like pretty much half
right.
of what. But I think culturally, like, French culture is a
Yeah.
little bit more close. It's like, they're more like, if you go somewhere, they talk to you. And I could see French culture is a little bit different. They're a little bit more affectionate
Right.
naturally.
Right.
So I could see why. That kind of actually makes sense if I think about culturally how Quebecois people are versus, like, Toronto people.
Mhm. Well, you know what? I think I'm surprised at that number.
Hmm.
I am surprised at that number because there is quite a bit to do here in Toronto, and I guess social life wise. Now with the winter approaching, it's always a difficult time because
Hmm.
you're indoors more, it's harder to get around and so on. And so I could understand like seasonally, but like
Mm.
to be 30%, 37%, that's damn high. That's high.
Yeah. They said, according to the report, Toronto residents are withdrawing from communities and from each other, interacting
See,
and volunteering less.
that's what I'm
Well, this
yeah.
is the point: interacting and volunteering less, and having fewer friends and fewer close relationships. And that's where I
Wow.
think the pandemic. That's where the pandemic, I think, really. played a part.
I just didn't think it would still be that high though.
But if you're thinking, it makes sense to me because there are people where, um, like you said, in the pandemic, you it was like your close people. Like you probably have,
That's
we all
true.
have a social, we all have a bunch of friends, but you might say you have 20 friends.
Mhm.
The ones that you talk to frequently and are really close or really leaned
Mhm.
in, maybe that's just five, right? So then in the pandemic, if you just really stayed close to those five, then the 15 kind of fell off the wayside because you were more conscious about
Well,
visiting
that is
and
true. I could yeah. I just I find that that number is so shocking. Um
mm,
I would have thought we would have been roughly neck and neck with Vancouver,
yeah, I'd be too.
right? So to hear that we're so far above, it's like, wow, okay, that's an eye
But
opener.
I think maybe if we think, oh, similar, probably similar to Calgary, like Toronto has gets a lot of immigrants, so that could be. I wonder if that too is like the people. Toronto also has a lot of people who migrate into the city for opportunity, work, and school,
Well,
right?
then that could then okay, yeah, I can see the number being 37. Yeah, okay. If we
Yeah,
include,
because
yeah, that demographic of people, yeah, or international students and stuff like that. Like I could definitely
yeah,
understand that part. Yeah. I just it is kind of shocking, but I think, mostly in the winter time is when I really concern about it. Sorry, excuse me. Woo, girl.
that was that a yawn?
Just a little one. Just a
Wow,
little
that was. I was like, is she connected still?
one. No, yeah. Long day. Anyhow, but
Mm,
like I could see, with that demographic of people, being a part of this study, the numbers being a little bit higher. And when winter
mhm.
time comes and it starts to get cold, that's the time where I can see that number being so high. But I'm telling you, as soon as it goes into double digits in the spring, you see people out, like people out and about and communicating and being around each other. Well, you know what, Toronto, I think maybe we need to, because that could be an issue, that
It is. No, it is. It's a big issue, and I
in terms
think
of not just loneliness, but mental health. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
help.
that's really what it
Yeah.
is because the
Yeah.
loneliness does leads to like there. If I read more into this article, they're talking about like depressive states and mental health. And another thing before we move on, it's
Mhm.
not just the adults. It's they said loneliness among students in Toronto District School Board doubled between student consensus between for 2017 and 2021, which again I think that has a lot to do with the pandemic, and now everybody was just segregated and encouraged to be alone, like encouraged to like not socialize.
Yeah, we
So
didn't have a
now I think we're
choice. It was
yeah
mandated.
we weren't yeah, it was mandated and we weren't given a choice, but now we're seeing the damage of that
Yeah.
on a community, and so it's interesting.
It is
But I
interesting, but we'll get back. We'll get back there. Just
no, we'll get back. I think, but
yeah.
we have to people like because people. I don't think we're 100% back to what we were before the pandemic. That's I
Well, I
think the
don't think
issue.
we'll ever be 100% back to that life. I think that life is pretty
Mhm.
much gone. I don't want to be
Mhm.
pessimistic, but let's just keep it a buck. The pandemic did a total reset of a lot of industries, a lot of what we would call our norm. It has
Mhm.
changed. And so we have to create a new norm. And so, we can get as close to what it used to look like as possible. But I think that the realistic part of it is we're never really going to get back to where we used. I don't even remember that. I'm sorry. I don't remember not having the pandemic in our lives. Isn't that sad? I mean, obviously we have memories and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
what we're living in is very contrary to that. And the everyday, I think the pandemic has made us our society change, shift
Mhm.
entirely, to the opposite side. And so it's unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with. So as long as we address these issues, hopefully in terms of mental health, people will be getting the help that they need. Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
I hope so.
I know. Hope so. Toronto, we need to get better. We need to get better at we don't want people
Mm-hmm.
being lonely. All right, so we're
Yes.
gonna go into the big doozy of the week.
The
The
doozy of the week.
the big
I
doozy of the week, which
Mr.
was Diddy and Cassie dropping a bomb on Diddy Puff Daddy, aka Sean Combs, brother love, yeah, Cassie, aka full name Cassandra Ventura, dropped a bomb on Diddy to boycott.
Bomb.
Woo!
Bomb. It was like a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, damn girl, not even on a Monday, on a Tuesday.
My
You think
girl,
the week is?
my girl is not playing around. Well, Cassie has some things to say, some
Yeah.
things to
So,
tell us about P. Diddy and his shenanigans. I just want to put this out there right away. I never liked P. Diddy from back in the day. I don't even like calling him P. Diddy. His name is Puffy to me. That's how I was introduced
mm,
to him. I'm going to keep that energy. Puffy, you are a low down, dirty ass demon freak. That's what you are.
mm,
That's what you
demon
are.
freak.
Never liked your ass
Mm,
from the jump. From back in the day where you were bopping up and down in the back of the video with, Biggie and stuff. Never liked you. Never liked you. My spirit never took to you, Puffy. I still
mm,
think to this day, this is going to be controversial, but I think you killed Biggie. But anyhow, let's see
mm.
what he did now. Let's see what, yeah, did he? They're coming for you, friend. Your day is coming. Your day is here, Regin. It's here. Tell them what Cassie had to
So
say. Please and thanks.
pretty much, it's pretty graphic, and I guess trigger
Yep.
warning for anybody
Please.
who's dealt with any
Mm-hmm.
sexual abuse or any physical abuse or domestic violence. Like trigger warning for real. But even I've heard the indictment or the document that outlined everything that happened in the lawsuit was pretty graphic. I seen a few lines or whatever, but it's a bit much. It's like I seen enough to know that like this is like yeah he needs to be sued. So a few things. Let me set the stage. Is like
Mm-hmm.
Diddy and Cassie dated. I think it was a while back. They dated from early 2000s up until like around I think it was 2016 or something. So
Yeah.
over
10-year
over
relationship.
over
Mm-hmm.
about a 10-year relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when Cassie came on the scene, she was known for she was a very beautiful girl. She's very exotic looking. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
biracial. She's Blasian, and she had a lot of attention on her because any new artist is going to get some attention, but on top of that, she was very beautiful, right? And so anyway, long story short, she was with another singer, Ryan Leslie, and
Mm-hmm.
Diddy supposedly, I don't think he could steal anybody, but Diddy pretty much was got her after she was dating Ryan Leslie. And from there on, they were together for over about 10 years, let's call it, from 2005 up into 2016. And in her lawsuit, she alleges that she was lured into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him within a few years of their meeting. So she met him
Mind
when
you,
she
she
was
was
about,
19.
yeah, she was
Okay.
19, and
He was
Sean
almost
Combs,
40.
Diddy, yeah, he was 37 when they
Yep.
met,
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship started the following year. But that's, either way. The grooming probably started from when she was 19 when they first met. He exerted his power and influence over her using drugs and alcohol to coerce her into a sexual relationship. So that's how pretty much that transition from Ryan Leslie to Diddy. That's the description that we're getting. And so she outlines a lot of troubling incidences. I don't want to get into it,
No,
like the
but
details,
I think what we should
but
do
it's
is just name what the top parts of her lawsuit are, which is sex trafficking,
mm-hmm.
rape. Well, it, I mean, there are so many crimes he was committing by drugging her and
Oh,
involving
that, oh
himself
gosh.
with prostitution of gay men.
Mm. Yeah, the
right?
trafficking because he was flying them out. He was
Exactly.
flying
He's
out
flying them
the
out,
male prostitutes. Yeah.
right? And a few at a time. And
Mm.
there's so many things that he actually laws that he actually broke, but those are the top parts of her
Yeah.
lawsuit.
So the
Yeah,
bad ones is trafficking, rape, and obviously domestic violence.
exactly, exactly.
Everything, all the other stories, I like, as you said, there's some other things in there I think he should be charged with,
There's a
but those are
whole
the
lot of stuff like that. If he were to actually be charged with everything, from what we have found out, it would be a long rap sheet. Like, it would be a long rap sheet because there's so many intricate laws that he was breaking in between, right?
Mhm.
Because drugging her, that could almost be considered like you're holding her hostage. Um,
Exactly.
right? And so, right? So there's all these itty bitty laws that he was breaking in the meantime and between time. But
Yeah, because it's easier to control and coerce for someone to do what you want when they're not in the right mind.
I will
And
say one thing is that Cassie tried to get away.
yeah.
She tried to get away, and she tried to align herself with people that could help her get away. And unfortunately, he's blowing up people's cars and shit, me. Like, what?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's in that's in the lawsuit as well, and
All
Kid Cudi
right.
verified it.
You know?
Okay, so
Mhm.
let's just outline high level, not to get too graphic, but like the things that where I was like, first of all, when I saw the headline in headline this, I got the headline. I have the New York Times app on my phone. So I didn't
Mhm.
even see this on social media. I expect this to be on social media. The New
Mm-mm.
York Times, the
Everybody, I'll pick it
premium,
up. Everybody. Mhm.
not and then this is like a globally respected publication,
Right?
not just any publication. New York bloody
Right?
Times. Like, when I saw that, my heart dropped. I was like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad. It's like being announced on the New York Times, like right away, not too after, like literally an hour after she filed the lawsuit. And so
I was
yeah,
like, Diddy,
so
you're done, bro. You're
I
done.
was like, yeah, it was not, that's why my heart dropped without knowing. Like, I knew that, okay, so I was setting up the relationship thing. When we saw her, like, we're like, oh, she's a bad boy artist, da da da. Did he? Okay, I guess like he's in a relationship with her. It never rubbed me the right way, to be
Never.
honest.
Mm-mm.
And like, not even, and it's like the age different, but also the power dynamic. Like, he's the mogul, he's the owner of the label, and like she's the artist, and so now it's almost like just like your any boss and worker
Yeah, but he
relationship.
treated her like she was a dolly.
Yes, and like, yeah, he told her what to wear. He told her
Right?
like that iconic hairstyle that she had. There's a story online of how that hairstyle came to be, and he literally told her to just shave her head. And she, being a puppet, like Kim said, a doll. That's his doll. She's like, that's what he wants. That's what she's not questioning it. And this is she's been in a relationship over 5 years. She's been groomed. She's 19 years old. She doesn't have the tools to question. Like, she's not going to say no. She doesn't have even the mental, um all her barriers and stuff have been broken down from being groomed from a young woman, right? So she's not even going to know how to say no to those type of requests.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that was always another weird thing, is you could tell that she was his
Mm-hmm.
trophy and that she was a doll and she was just a plaything, and he didn't treat her like a real equal. Like, it was obvious,
He
and that
didn't
was
treat her like she was an actual person.
person.
Because
Ooh,
you barely heard her speak.
that's true.
Barely, if at all, if at all. Especially when they were together, you could see he treated her like, this is my personal trophy over here. This is my personal trophy. Go back in time, you'll see it. Every red carpet that he did with her, every side interview that he did with her off of the red carpet or whatever. We didn't really see her at any other time. She didn't have much to say. So in this relationship, we can see the dynamics from way long time ago, that this man had full control over her, and he was very skilled at what he did, because he painted a picture to the rest of everybody else that she was a gold digger, and that she is just there for the lifestyle. right, of P Diddy. And a lot of people came down on Cassie and said, "Oh well, she's just with him for his money," and da da da. Little did we know, little did we know what was really popping. And what was really popping behind the scenes was this man was an absolute demon to this woman for
Hmm.
so long. She tried to get out. She did.
You know what's crazy? She called out in the lawsuit,
Mm-hmm.
when she was outlining the, her, what her cause for the lawsuit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She called this out because I remember you told me, you asked a question, why is
Mm-hmm.
she doing this now? Why
That's
would
right.
Cassie drop this lawsuit now? The relationship has been over for a while. In the her list of items, she said in 2022, Mr. Combs received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards. During this speech, which we remember because Carisha did the most and he didn't
Yes,
mention
she
Carisha.
did. Mm-hmm.
During his acceptance speech, Mr. Combs stated, I have to give a special shout out. Thank you, love. Thank you. Love to all the people that were really there for me. In the acceptance speech, he named a number of people before adding, and also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love. What? I told you he was poking the bear, and on top,
Sure
another thing
was.
that he did to poke the bear, everybody, he had a song earlier this year with Bryson Tiller.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what was that. I have to see. We need to get this right because this is. I said to me, he was being kind of, he was gaslighting. Got to move on. Yeah, I remember that song. Got to move on with Bryson Tiller, and he
And
literally,
Carisha.
obviously,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And he definitely was talking about Cassie, and he called out her man. I was like, again, poking the bear. If anybody follows Cassie's man, he's always calling out Diddy. This man is like, just you wait, and they knew what they had in the chamber, right?
Well,
But
I
anyway,
think Diddy was so stupid because he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I think he was very salty. He was very salty about it,
yeah,
and we could all see it.
you could see it. Yeah,
I at the time thought it was because, they were together for so long and he was just salty that she moved on. But one question I have yet to get answered is, how did she get out? He had her on lock for 10 bloody years. Blew up Kid Cudi's car, which Kid Cudi confirmed. Yes, he did. How did she get out? For real, for real. How does she get out of that? Because lots of people have threatened before that they're going to write books and do all of this stuff and they end up in a coma or dead. So how did she get out of that? What did she
yeah.
do to get
Well,
herself
I
out
hope
of that? I
I
really
hope
would
she writes
love
the
to
book.
know.
I hope she writes
I
the book.
really hope she does write that book. It would be a top seller and it will bury him.
Yeah, he
He's
and
already
yeah,
in the ground, as far as I'm
he's
concerned.
he's halfway in the ground after this. Like
Yeah,
he settled.
yeah,
Oh, we didn't get. I didn't drop the bombshell. We're gonna move on. Okay, um, she's suing him for 30 million, and she outlines all the terrible things that she went through
yeah,
in the lawsuit. And then now everybody, a lot of people came out in support, particular people from Danity Kane.
yeah.
Of course, 50
Who
Cent
have
said
already been
something.
calling him out. All these people have
They've
been
been,
calling him
yeah,
out.
all the Danity Kane
Yeah.
girls, Aubrey O'Day, D
Mm-hmm.
Woods, and Dawn Richard, all came out in support. Lots of people are in support of Diddy, and a lot of celebrities like who are really close to him, like Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
She's like very visibly close. She's deleted some recent pictures, and Janet Jackson. They went on their Instagram and deleted their recent
Yeah.
pictures with Diddy. They're like, left
Done.
a delete.
You're
And
done. You're done, Diddy. You're
he's
done.
halfway buried, right? And so his lawyer came out and claimed that, they came out with this where he said that his lawyer Ben Braffman came out and said that he was a victim instead of the singer. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combe has been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistent demand for 30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail, he said in a statement. Despite her initial withdrawing her threat, Miss Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with base. Oh, that's lawyer speak. I don't give a shit about that. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, My okay now fast forward, the lawsuit came out. They broke the internet. This news broke the internet when it
Literally
came out.
broke the internet.
And literally by the next morning, Cassie posted saying that she's decided to resolve this amicably. I've decided to resolve this matter amicably on the terms that I have some level of control. And she thanks her fans and family for their support. And then Diddy similarly had a similar kind of sounding tone of. So essentially, this was settled within 24 hours. And my question is, if you were going to settle in 24 hours, Diddy,
You're a
you should have
dumbass. You're a
give this
dumbass.
girl the money. You should have gave her that 30 million the first time, because now that they settled with the quickness, she damn near definitely got more than 30 million.
Well,
Now, because
here's
she
the
has
thing is
control.
that she
She has
probably
control.
went in at 30 million because reportedly
Mm,
his lawyer and her lawyer tried to sit down and settle this
mhm,
before this even got big like
yeah.
this.
Mhm, mm,
And unfortunately, did he was bluffing, and she called
mm.
his bluff. And
Yep. Whew.
unfortunately, now in public opinion, you're underneath the jail, as far as
He's
I'm
done
concerned,
for.
because nobody wants to mess with you now. No one's going to touch you with a 10-foot pole. And not only that, but this can of worms has been busted well wide open, and everybody is going to be looking into you now.
Yep.
Everybody
Yep.
from the woodworks is going
All
to
the
be coming
stories are gonna
out.
come out, because that's not the only woman.
Nope,
Like there
it's
was
not the
another
only
woman.
man either. It's a whole lot of people who are gonna come
Mm,
out of the woodworks, and she just opened it up. But
mm,
she's gonna walk away with the greatest to gain. And
mm.
so she called his bluff, and then he said, "Okay, hold on now,
Hold on
hold
now.
on now, let's not get hasty." Okay, and yeah, he settled quick, fast, in a hurry. The fact that you settled, it's a done deal.
It's one thing that you settled, but you settled within 24 hours.
Right?
Like that was the
Right?
quickness
You
is
didn't
one
even let
thing.
this, because could you imagine what she has told us, and we haven't even gone to trial? Like, could you imagine what would have came out? Like,
Mm,
Diddy knows.
he
After in
knows,
24 hours,
and
he
more
said,
people
"Okay,
would
okay,
come out.
okay, okay, okay. All right,
Hmm.
all right, all right,
Yeah.
all right. I'll give you your 30 mil." And that's when her lawyer said, "Oh, sorry, it's doubled."
Yeah, she definitely got more now, because now like she has control. She has the control, and she said it. I have the control. So now you didn't want to cough up the 30. Maybe it's 50. I don't think it's double, but at the very least, she got 50. At the very least.
I think she would have doubled it. I think just to
Okay.
spite his ass, I think she would
Mm.
have doubled it. Not only
Because
that,
he came in so
she has
quick.
lawyer fees to pay. Okay, because
Mm.
she had a high powered lawyer backing her, so I'm sure his fees are not.
Mm.
Not only that, but you want to call my okay. You want to play like you're okay. You think this is a poker game? All right, now let me show you who can win the war. Let me show you. And she won the war. Here's what no. Cassie, you better take your child and your man, and you better go far, far away, because this man still has a lot of power, and he still has a lot of money. And I
Well, here's
I'm
my
just going
thing
to
with the
call a
money.
spade a spade. This is a
Mm.
very dangerous man. He's a very
Yeah.
dangerous man, and he's probably killed quite a bit of people to get where he is right now. So you calling his bluff like this, putting him on blast like
Allegedly,
this,
allegedly, allegedly.
well, okay,
Well, you have to say allegedly.
allegedly, whatever. Okay, at the end of the day, my God knows what's real, and it's coming to light. So, she better just take her money and run with her picnic and her kids. You understand what I'm telling you? Because he's not anything to play with. He still has a lot of power, even
Mhm,
with this nonsense. Now, what's gonna
mhm.
happen to Diddy is his whole life is gonna be on blast in a little
It's
while.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
In a
See,
little
everything is
while.
going to be over analyzed.
Everything is going to be on blast. But if you notice, he's being attacked left, right, and center, and it's breaking down his empire. And that's what I'm really happy that has happened, is that his empire, what we know of Diddy, is crumbling before him. I've
Mhm,
never liked this man. Allegedly, he's done a lot of things in the industry that we are not even privy to. As you
yeah.
can see, we thought She was just a gold digger. Little did we know what was really happening in the background. Could you imagine what kind of things would come out in trial? Could you imagine what kind of things
Ooh,
could
he
drop?
knows. That's why 24 hours didn't go by
Boom!
before.
My man made sure say, you understand? Him take care of the thing. Well, good.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, she's bringing. I personally think, and I've said this to you before, that Keefe D, he opened Pandora's box. He, when it came
Hmm.
to Diddy and his life and what he's
Hmm.
behind the scenes doing, instead of bouncing up and down like a damn fool, okay, what we really see him for started, I think, with Keefe D. When Keefe D came out and he started to say, Diddy never took care of me, yet I was one of his, goons.
Mm.
And now the goon is going to spill the beans. Could you imagine if there were collaborative efforts written in a book about all of these shenanigans? They're saying surviving Diddy now. Okay? Doesn't that sound familiar? Like R. Kelly? Yeah,
Yeah.
where's
Oh,
R.
yeah.
Kelly? Where's R.
You
Kelly?
know, I think he has as much stories. There's as much surviving Diddy stories as there are surviving R. Kelly stories. That would be super damning. Like he said, that the thing with Diddy is he has a lot of influence in the industry. And what one thing that would help is if he didn't dabble with little kids. People are more ready to rat you out when you talk about dealing with kids. Like that's still a no no socially. That's not acceptable. And so I think that's what eventually buried R. Kelly, where a lot more people were like disgusted with the behavior versus like they're just looking at Diddy running through women. They're not going to think much of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Cassie, you know what, girl? Um, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You didn't just let this
Yeah,
go
that's we have to. I'm
away.
very proud of her. Yeah.
You didn't let this
Yep.
go away, man. You stood up for yourself. Okay, you stood up for yourself. And from my understanding in California, there's no statutory limit on charges of rape. So
Hmm.
I'm just so proud that you stood up for yourself against such a typhoon. Because honestly, a lot of people wouldn't have believed you. A lot of people would have just wanted to sweep it on the rug. The fact that you were so brave, you know his power. You've seen it firsthand. So thank you for doing that because you've shown a lot of women out here that no, you don't got to deal with this. You don't got to sweep it under the rug. You don't have to suffer in silence.
Mm.
And so she's out here and she's putting it all out here. And the fact that, we know that you took drugs, I'm sorry, that's a people don't give a shit about that because they know
Mm.
why you were hooked on drugs.
Yeah.
You know, we know that you were highly influenced as a young girl, because that's what you were. You were a young girl, and this was an old, almost 40 year old Batman who came in and totally manipulated you. And before you knew it, you were so deep, you didn't have, but however you got out. I will read that book, girl. I will read that book to
Yeah,
find out how the
that's
hell you got
that's
out.
for Kim. The $1 million question is: after all this trauma, how the
How
hell
the
did you get out?
hell did you get out? For real, for real. Because like I was saying and I kind of said before, you tried with Kid Cudi and Kid Cudi was going to help you, okay? And he was trying to get you to a good point. However, Diddy came and blew up his car in front of his house. So, and Kid Cudi confirmed that that actually did happen. This is the type of things that P. Diddy can do is blow up a car in front of someone's house.
Ooh. Well, I have to say there was something other that's very sinister. That was something sinister that came out of this. Another, like, the whole thing is evil,
It
but
sure
another
is.
thing,
It
but
sure
it's like
is.
there's a couple of things that were super evil. But I'll add to that is that when he was coercing her to sleep with male prostitutes while he watched, right?
Nasty ass.
And plying her
Ejaculating
with,
in the corner.
yeah,
Nasty
yeah,
pervert.
right. It's like, damn, did he? That's phew, that's your
Right?
image is done. But anyway, so yeah, when he was doing that, he would tell her to get a white manicure, get her nails manicured with white nails, so she could see her hands on like the black prostitutes' bodies, right? And so one thing, somebody dug up some pictures of Carisha, young Miami, and
Okay.
there's a lot of photos with her and Diddy, and her nails are white. And I was like, my heart dropped because I was like, oh, it's too early. Like he doesn't have his nails into Carisha like that yet. But
I don't think he
you don't
could.
know.
I don't think
I
he
don't think
could
he
get
could
them.
because he met her older. Yeah, because she met Carisha. Because there's a difference between grooming a 19-year-old and meeting a woman who's like 20. I think when maybe she's 27, 28 when they met.
Yeah, she had
Maybe
two
27,
children. She had two children by the
and
time
two
she met him.
children, and she's been through a lot.
She's been through a lot, and she's been to prison.
And
You
she
know,
wasn't relying on him for
she's
her
not.
career. She
She's
already had her
not.
career.
She
Yeah.
already had something going on before him. But I think that she's having a good old funky time with this old man, and I think
Hmm.
she's collecting her receipts.
Mm.
She sure is. Put them receipts in her back pocket. She sure will. Um, allegedly Cassie was getting $250,000 a month.
Yep.
So I could just imagine what Carisha's getting right now, especially if she's having fun. If she thinks that this is fun, because she did say she likes golden showers. Uh huh.
Mm.
Sure did.
I
Nasty
mean,
ass
she has
sucker.
come out and said that was a joke for the
Yeah,
to
I
sell her
don't.
card game.
Yeah, backtrack and pussy pop at this point.
The
Okay, no, you do.
damage has been done.
The damage is you do, girl. You admitted to that shit straight up, like you were laughing and shit. No, you do. No, nice try. Try
Hmm.
again next time. You need more people. But for me, I see her just taking it for what it is and taking him for every dime he has, or every
Mm.
dime she can get from him.
She can get, yeah. Hmm.
No, Cassie's gonna come for his money. Cassie's coming for his money, and she deserves it. And she could now
Hmm.
live her life and get into therapy if she hasn't already been in therapy. She probably has been, um, and just live her life and go on from this. And I'm just so happy that she was brave enough to do this. I
Yeah, that
really
takes a lot of
am.
courage
It,
because he was probably lording. Remember, if you think about
He
all
was
these
taunting
Illuminati,
her. You mentioned it earlier. He was taunting
mm,
her. He was going on the
mm,
damn television on the big award show, taunting her, making songs to taunt her. Like she had no other choice but to put her foot down.
mhm.
She had
But
to.
she gathered the courage to, because it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and that's probably why she, people are like, why now? Like, that's always a question with the victim blamers. Why now, right? They want to, like, don't get me wrong, we should question things, right? But I mean, this, if you were to read the lawsuit, it's not like the girl is giving dates and times and locations, and corroborators, and like there was a hotel where he went in a fit of rage and threw a bunch of vases at him in the hotel hallway. He paid the hotel $50,000 to destroy the video. So he was actively paying lots of money to and sending her away on trips when he beat her up, when she looked disheveled, sending her away so nobody would see when her face was bruised. He worked very hard to hide the fact that he was like fucking abusing the shit out of this girl.
So sad. But you know what? You're gonna get yours. You're gonna get yours, girl. So, because at the very least, if we put the money aside for a second, for all of your torment and pain, we put that money aside for a second. You have destroyed this man publicly. You've destroyed him.
Mm.
There's no coming back from this. I'm sorry, there just isn't.
No, there isn't. No,
There
it's
really isn't,
disgusting.
because over the
Yeah.
years, a lot of people have speculated about Puffy's sexuality, and that he's been,
Mm.
he does things that are a little on the gay side. And hey, kudos to you if that's what you want to do. But I think Puffy tries to emulate this image that's just not true. It's just
Mm.
not true. And now it's come to pass where we can see the truth, and she's putting it out there for us to see the real you. And I'm
Mm.
sorry, I think, outside of the money, she has won. This war, this battle is done.
Oh, she won this battle. She won
She
this
won the
battle, boys.
war.
She won this battle. She won the war
The
because
whole
she. Oh
war.
shit.
The whole war.
Well,
Because
okay.
you bet not believe he will never talk about her ass again.
Mm,
He will never
mm.
mention her name again.
But
Best
she called his
believe me.
bluff. She
Best
called
believe
his
me.
bluff.
He will never ever say this woman's name again. Because he's gonna
Right.
try to distance himself so far from this shit. Okay, he's wishing that she just go away and never to be seen or heard of again. He will never talk about this woman again. He will never taunt her again. So she's actually stopped the monster. Do you know what I mean? Like she stopped the monster from doing the monster stuff. Because that song that Carisha was on, that was directed towards Cassie. I don't care what nobody tells me. All the
Yeah.
comments that he's been throwing out, the jabs
But
are
he said, but
towards her.
he admitted that that was not a secret.
Right? So
Mhm.
now she's right. So through all of what she's been through, right? She had to deal with the turmoil of having this damn ass man constantly reminding her
Mm.
and jabbing at her and almost torturing her still.
Still, yeah, that's it.
Right? So she
So
had
she,
no other choice. So now she is not only she's gotten her money, her family, everybody will be good, but she's stopped the monster because this man will not put his she will not ever be mentioned by this man again.
mm, mm,
So she's literally stopped the monster in his tracks. And hopefully any other woman out there who has been tortured by this man as well. And Carisha, trust me, don't sell your soul to the devil, girl. Don't sell your soul to the devil.
mhm. One more thing before we come off of the
Yes,
topic.
yes, and we'll move on to the call out. What
Yeah,
was that?
the pick me's are coming in.
Oh
We always
God,
know when we have these allegations,
there's pick
when we
me's
had the
in this
Me Too,
situation. Really? Oh God.
yeah, girl, and they're black,
Oh Lord, Jesus.
which they tend to be. They do tend to be. I hate to say it. When it
Oh
comes
my.
to us, sometimes we're our own worst enemies. So apologize, Parker. I don't know if you remember that actress. She's a big mouth actress. She's been in a lot of things. She's been in a lot of black movies. Um, but Paula Jai Walker was on Twitter and she says as a sexual assault victim, one would say I get it, but I don't. I was a child. I guess she was abused as a child, looking for
Mhm.
nothing from anyone. But you called us thirsty for protecting what's mine, but it's not thirsty when you forget to protect your behind.
Wow.
I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm saying she wasn't complaining about being his woman and the fame that came with it. What goes on between a man and a woman is just that. At what point does pleasing your man become all this? Only chicks dating freaky millionaires. Okay, Paula. Okay, it's one. There are ways to say what she's saying without coming across so crass. First of all, second, are you on Diddy's payroll? Like,
Right?
as long you're like a D-lister, so and you look like your head's not so good from being in the industry so long too. So I don't even know why you'd come out of the woodworks to say that. And then another thing she tweeted was, "I'm sorry, but I don't get it. I used to be 19 and I was in the industry and I was quite capable of saying no, bitch." You can say no all you want, but if somebody's showering you and manipulating you, there's like a mental thing going on here that you're not. It's like you're not accounting for.
Yeah, but
You're
everybody
not a,
has different life experience, okay? First and
that too.
second.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
second, maybe she was coming out of a situation because from what I heard, the situation with her previous what's his name? Brian
Ryan Leslie.
Leslie wasn't a good one
Mhm.
either. That he
Yes, I
was
heard that
actually
too.
abusing her as well. So
Hmm.
she went from an abuser to an abuser. Okay? So check your facts. I know you play a ratchet black woman a lot. I know that's your like go-to role. However, this is not the time. Okay, Miss Pickney, this is not the time. This is not the time because she's being brave. She's being
Yeah,
brave
that's the thing.
and
This is not the
she's
time.
taking down somebody who despite this, has done a lot of bad to the black community. A lot. He has taken many people's careers and dashed them aside. He has taken their money, their royalties. He's done a lot of dirt. Okay? And now Keefe D is gonna come out with his book just now. Okay? We can see that he's involved in murder. If he could blow up somebody's car, he's involved in murder, as far as I'm concerned. Allegedly, whatever. I'll say the magic word allegedly, 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 whatever. We all damn know that this is a psychopath and she's stopping him in his tracks. So now's not the time.
Now is definitely not the time.
Go sit down.
And so yeah, we'll move on. But
Move
it was
on
fun.
from
Of
this
course,
heifer because
she
this
got a
heifer, I
lot of
can't.
backlash because she was on reality TV this the other day, crying that she's broke and she's
Yeah,
blackballed.
okay.
This isn't going to help you not be blackballed, girl. But anyway,
No, as a matter of fact, it's going to make people not want to work with you even more.
exactly.
So I
Yep.
think you should have shut up. But we're going to shut it up on this topic. And you know what, Cassie, good for you, girl. Good for you. You were an example to a lot of women out here who have
Yeah, that
gone
was
through
very
this
brave of
shit.
her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You stopped the monster in his tracks.
She's taking down a
Take
beast. A
down the
beast.
beast. The beast is on his knees.
Ooh.
Okay? Running back with that settlement in 24 hours. My man didn't sleep on that. Sure didn't. But we're not going to sleep on the rest of this episode. And so let's move into the call out. It's the call out.
Call out.
It's the call out. Yes, this is where we put each other into the hot seat by asking each other a question. And so, my question for today is I'm trying to keep it light cuz honestly,
Yeah, we have to talk about a lot of
woo,
intense.
Diddy and Cassie, I can't right now. But if you woke up one morning, right?
Mhm.
And you had a genie in front of you, ready to grant 3 wishes for life and 1 wish for 24 hours, what would it be?
Lord God, this is complicated. This is
So,
not a light question.
I'm trying to make it fun, shit, a genie
Mhm,
and shit.
mhm,
But
mhm,
anyhow, for me, okay, I think my 3 for life would be health,
mhm.
wealth, and wisdom. Because I
Okay.
feel like you need wisdom in order to stay healthy and
Yes.
to maintain wealth.
Yeah.
So, what I would do for 24 hours. Now, for 24 hours, I would say I want to see every part of this world in 24 hours.
Yeah. Your brain will be fried.
I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep. Listen, if I could not sleep for that statistics exam, I could do it for a world tour. Okay? Shit. That statistics exam was something else, let me tell you. In university, but that was fun. But so that's what I would do. I would want to
Mhm,
take a trip around the world just to say that I've seen it. Just to say that
mhm,
I've been. Obviously, I couldn't go to every single crevice of the world, but major
mm.
continents and stop on every major continent. Um, Obviously, all the large cities. Um, but I'd love to see what this world has to offer because I feel like God's goodness is so much around, and I could just imagine what it would look like everywhere else. And so,
But why would you want to do that in 24 hours?
because then I'm done.
Oh Lord, that sounds intense. Okay.
Yes,
Well, that's
just
a
do
good.
it one shot. 24 hours, man. Take me everywhere, one
That
shot.
sounds like a
No,
nightmare. But
I'd be on the
okay.
damn genie's carpet and we just roll
Okay.
around. I'd get to
Okay. They'll
see
fold.
Paris. I'd get to see, the lions in
They'll
Africa. I would, just quick, 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 24 hours. And then I get sleep for a couple of days and wake up and
they'll
I have
fold the
health,
rules of
wealth, and
time.
wisdom. Huh?
They'll fold the rules of time for you to do that, but
Well,
you'll do it.
well, I didn't say how slow the 24 hours would go, but it would be
No, I
24
know. That's
hours.
what I'm saying. You could. There, it's a genie. You could control the time.
Right?
So,
And we could do it
um,
quickly. So yeah. But anyway, so what's he doing?
yeah. So I guess I guess immediately, because one of those things where it's like there's so many things. That's why all those stories and movies about getting three wishes always end in tragedy. It's not
Well, the
necessarily
reason
a
why
good
I
thing.
saw this because I saw a preview for a movie that's coming out soon, and it's a
Mm,
modern day version of the genie. And so I
mm.
was like, oh, so what would
I actually saw there was actually a recent movie about that with Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. It's actually a really good movie. I'd recommend it.
right? So it would just I'm putting this question together, and I'm like, three wishes, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what if I could do something in 24 hours? It's
Hmm.
like your bonus wish. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that's my question to you. So, what
Yeah,
would you want your three wishes to be
I guess yeah.
for
Always
life?
health
But
needs to
it's for
be
life. See,
yeah
that's why
health.
I would
Well,
make the trip around the world for 24 hours because I'm not trying to do that for life. I'm not
okay,
trying to
you,
do that for
you
life.
you try you tried to bend some rules, but I'll
I
give
sure
it to you. I'll
did.
give it to
Sure did.
you. Yeah, of course, health. You wanna if you're gonna have a full life, you want it to be healthy. Whatever, all the days of my life, I want to be physically and mentally healthy, spiritually as well. Um, Obviously, wealth does make a difference in your quality of life. So if you're gonna live a long life because you're healthy, you're gonna want to be comfortable,
Right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I guess that was it the two lifelong and then a third 24 hours
There's no
or
three
three.
lifelong and then one for
Mm,
24 hours.
okay. Then the third one I guess would be I wish I could have like a healing power. Like if people are doing things wrong, it
True.
could heal them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a I give myself a little superpower.
Okay.
And then the 24 hours. 24 hours. Oh, that's like a wild like being in 24 hours, wish something that could happen I could have for 24 hours. Oh, that's crazy. I wish I could talk to my loved ones that are gone. If I could have a moment with that, have a conversation with them, that would be a good one. So yeah, and the movie I was talking about that's like a
Mm-hmm.
modern day genie. It's called 3,000 Years of Longing. It's actually a really gorgeous movie, and it's directed by George Miller. Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, and Idris Elba plays a jinn, which is pretty much a genie. It's like when we talk about the genie, is like the modern twist on the actual folklore of a jinn, and a jinn is somebody that is in a bottle or in contained in any object, not a
Mm-hmm.
bottle, any container, and they grant you the wishes. But it's always that same thing when you get somebody grants a wish. There's always a downside to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always. But this model came out last year, really good movie. So yeah, good question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my question again, I think we want to do something fun and easy, I guess. What is a song that you go to? What's or your go to song when you're like not in a good mood and you're trying to cheer yourself up? You're
Oh
stressed,
gosh.
worried, depressed,
One
sad,
song or
whatever.
can I do a genre? Can I do
Uh,
a genre?
no, you give me
Okay.
no. I want a song. Give me a go
Damn
to
it,
song.
man. Damn it,
It
B.
doesn't need to be the one, but if you have a
Um.
one that's common to cheer yourself up.
Oh, good. You go first.
Okay, yes, yeah. My song
Hmm.
is actually this is a but there's different songs. But if I'm really in a funk, like I mean like
Hmm.
borderline depressed, what really helps me is actually a Bob song, and it's Three Little Birds.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Three Little Birds.
Yeah.
That's like if I'm in a deep funk. If I'm playing that, oh, I am on the brink of depression. But that's like yeah, but that's like a go-to.
Um. Let me see. Like what? Okay. One that's popping into my mind would be
Mm.
Tupac's "Keep Your Head Up."
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. Keep
Because
your
head
head
up,
up.
ooh,
Yep.
child, things are gonna get easier. Mm,
Yeah, that's actually a really
mm,
good one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's something that just popped into my head. But if we were really to go to a genre, like a whole, like broaden it and say a genre, I'd have to say reggae. Because reggae, I
Mhm.
don't know, it could take you through a whole lot of emotions. You could be in the dance hall in 1 minute, you could be bubbling
Mhm.
in the corner in your stone
Mhm.
love. You know what I mean? Like, you could go back into the day, back in time when reggae was
Mhm.
just popping. Even with what
Yeah.
you said, like, reggae's, they're activists that are in reggae. Like, the music itself feels like it's an activist in this world.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's so, yeah, okay. Well,
Mhm.
those were easy peasy questions tonight. Well, at least I
Yeah.
tried to
Yeah.
make mine easy, but
Yeah, yeah, well,
know.
yeah. It's one of those ones where it's like just like asking for a wish. It's like, damn, what rabbit hole are we gonna go into?
Right? Right? And I tried to switch it up. But you know what? When I am feeling down, I think that hip hop also helps me. Um,
Hmm.
but sometimes it can make me feel aggressive. And so,
Yeah, here's why I don't. It's hip hop is I might be averted to it. There might be a song, but I can't think of it right now. But it's like it's more like, yeah, to your point where it's a lot. It's very loud, and
mhm,
it's very a lot, and there's a lot going on. Like, there's like hip hop music. There's a lot going on. There's the your the way you say your lyrics are generally, like you said, more aggressive. There are some that are quiet. There's actually, I can tell you one that's more calming, but yeah, it's like, and the beat is usually more intense. So it's like I need something easy. Like, so if it's too intense, like if you're like if I'm in like sad state, then I'm like, that's gonna be make me anxious,
that's true.
right?
Yeah, it
So I
is
like, and
true.
like I want it to be a little easy. Like
Mhm.
it's in helping my mood, but it's also not too intense. Even lyrically, you want
And
something
for some
simple. Like,
reason, Biggie, Biggie Smalls, he gives me, when I listen to his music, I feel
he
like,
was a menace. If you think about his
yeah,
lyrics,
like
he was a
his
menace.
lyrics were like serious. But there's certain songs that he gives me this playful, like, you want to,
Yeah,
it's a playful type of rap that his style.
yeah,
But you know what?
yeah,
Those are really good questions. And so
yeah.
we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. This was an awesome show. And so, yeah, we'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.
Bye.